Okay, so we are live tonight at 9. This is my first live in a long time, and actually my first live hosting here on YouTube. So I just made up a makeshift section of my studio here, and I've never gotten the chance to actually go live. I've tried it many times, but I'm going up in age, so the technology has been deceiving me for a very, very long time. But nevertheless, I'm here and we're going to go through some of what we want to talk about tonight. So, a couple years ago, when I just started this channel, I had a couple of videos. They're still here on my YouTube channel. If you go onto my channel itself, which you're seeing there in the background on the screen, and I had a series called How Engineers Keep Mechanics Miserable. And there were actually TikTok videos downloaded directly to my YouTube channel because I needed content at the time and I was new to the space, but I was really, really busy working and doing everything else, learning how YouTube actually works. But nevertheless, I uploaded one video per day, and over a course of a year and a half, I think, I probably uploaded over 200 videos. And yeah, 200, 300 videos. And now I'm going to clean up the channel a bit because it's loaded with a lot of shorts. But most of the shorts that I'm doing now are shorts from videos that I created personally. So without further ado, I'm going to go through a couple of those videos because I'm going to be deleting them, cleaning up some space, as you say. But I wanted to give all of you the opportunity to go back to those videos because they were all about mechanics. And for everyone who's been rocking with me from a very long time knows the fact that I'm one of them who try to keep mechanics as much as possible in terms try to keep mechanics watching well, praise mechanics for the work they have done on our videos. I don't think they've gotten the praise they have got that they deserve in our society. And really and truly, I know that for a matter of fact, they are the ones we actually go to when we want certain things to be repaired. Not all mechanics are good, not all mechanics are bad, but majority of them are really good people. So the title of the series is called how again the title of the series is called How Engineers Keep Mechanics Miserable. And we go as far back as 2 years ago, and this is just a blow up of my YouTube channel itself. Again, if you want to watch the videos on your own, go to the channel, click on shorts, and then click on oldest, and you will see a number of them coming up. We're going to go through some of them tonight. And if this stream is well received, then I'll continue to go through as much as possible. But we can't go through all of them tonight, but we're going to try to go through at least some of them. So let's get into it and then we can analyze as we go along. Plus, if you have comments and feedbacks into how the repairs can be done, please feel free to share and will be very much appreciated. So let's get into our first one right here. Not to repeat it. So that was one of the first ones I uploaded, and as you can see right there, once he's trying to get the coolant out, and then it's draining all over the place. So that is part of the misery they go through. So let's go to our second one. Mind you, I'm doing this live, so ads are going to be popping up as we go along. I can't delete the ads, but let's go to the second one. Hmm. That's a Monday job right there. Puppy Chow. I wonder how that got in there, but nevertheless, he's just smiling about the whole situation. No, they're gonna have to pull down every single thing to get into that, and yeah, and the customer is gonna be furious as to why is their vehicle taking this long to actually go through all of that. Let's play it again. It looks more like squirrel collecting nuts, and then they try to store it into the compartment right there. Let's go to the next one. And believe it or not, it's flat rate doing most of these jobs, and especially if the job is under warranty. And I mean, it's actually terrible the way they have to go through all of this. But let's go to the next one. Let's keep it rolling. Yeah, new tools, and as you know, mechanics have to keep updating themselves and updating their shop in order to keep up with the latest technology. So, over a lifetime of being a mechanic, you probably fork out between 20, 40, $60,000 in tools alone, and they're not getting any cheaper. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, well, yeah, that's a true statement. Keep your mechanic happy, especially if you're very close to the mechanic. But they won't do it for everyone. So it's one of the best things is to find a good mechanic, keep that relationship going, and pay them what they're worth. So if they're doing a job for you and they tell you what the cost is, please do not lowball. Okay, let's go to the next one. Well, of course, it's a GMC. What do we expect? So, nothing much there, and it all depends on how the engineer actually wakes up in the morning and gets some of these done. Um, the comment says it keeps the oil nice and warm, and The next one says every one of them need 2 years in trade school trades before degree, whatever trade it is, and I can endorse that. Let's go to the next one. Well, maybe he's just test driving the car and then try to get some food along the way. I won't interject in that one. So let's move on to the next one. Well, that's Ford for you. I'm not sure if a lot of these channels still exist on TikTok when I actually downloaded this, but as you can see here, let me go back a little. Yeah, they have the brake adjuster on one side and not on the other side, but they're gonna have to figure it out. Ah, fix or repair daily. That's the acronym for Ford. But mind you, the school children are expected to have their vehicles up and running so they can go home. So the mechanic has to figure it out. Let's go to the next one. As a matter of fact, we have gone through 10 because it says how engineers keep mechanics miserable, part 10. So let's go to the next one. Why I hate engineers. And the bolt is right there. Can't do much about the music while we're doing live. Let's go to the next one. Well, as it says here, some of the times the filter is there in order to keep the oil warm and up and running, but nevertheless, no one cares about the mechanic. Next. And there's no way to actually get the filter tool off. I was wondering how he got the filter tool on in the first place. Well, he slid it in, obviously, turned it, but there's no way the filter can come up with the tool. So he's gonna have to remove everything right here, or the reservoir bottle right here. I believe this is the coolant bottle. Yeah. It's tough being a mechanic. Mm-hmm. Basically, the catchment has to be wide enough in order to catch all of that. Let's go to the next one. And the comment here says you need to just pull the engine out since it was installed at the plant all in one place, all in one piece. It stands to reason if you pull the engine out, it will be 1,000 times easier to work, and not to mention save your time and keep your head from exploding. But That's a tough one. You'd have to dismantle so many things in order to just drop the entire engine, including the cross member underneath. That was hilarious. So now you have to go and purchase a brand new valve right there. But it's Ford. Hmm. And there's no way to get that starter out in order, unless you're gonna have to remove those coolant lines. But wait, there's always more where that comes from. And again, someone has to get it done. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, but look at all the sludge surrounding. Yeah, I just said that the truck is covered in mud. You're gonna have to give that a power wash in order to get to those nuts and bolts itself. So you're gonna have to put an extension with an extension in order to get to a nut to pull down a starter unit. But GM, Ford, those are the ones that are leading so far. We're at part 21. Let's see if we can go to a few more. Well, they're actually tightening, not loosening. And another thing you have to look at is there are tools available for that type of work, but you're gonna have to come out of pocket, and it's really, really expensive. Some of these snap-on tools that can go into tight spaces. Let's go to the next one. Yep, and you throw away the you actually throw away the tools. Uh, let's go back a little. What are you saying right there? Ford really went and built the car around the rear shocks like dumbasses. So he wants to remove the shocks, but he can't because the bolt, in order to loosen the shock, the top of the shocks, it's actually right underneath the wheel well right there. Darn. You're gonna have to remove the entire body of the vehicle in order to get to that to get to that shocks. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next one because of the music. There's another one with music. I'm trying to get through the ones without music. Let's read some of these comments. While I don't defend all engineers, that as an engineer, my experience is that management is the source of these problems. 90% of the stuff I've designed for work is done on a rushed timeline, has difficult slash ridiculous requirements sold before it's ready slash tested, and complex projects are dumped onto a single engineer with little slash no review process. Hell, when I started at my first job, they bought their PCs used from Craigslist. But to be fair, I have to also I've also met engineer who would absolutely design something like this and go, not my problem. So that's a serious statement. Next one says, I feel your pain. Good song, by the way. The worst so far for me was either a Honda CRV, a all-wheel drive, or a Nissan Sentra. Next one says, if cars were designed by mechanics, it would be a fucking ugly car, but a joy to work on. Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. Over 17 statement comments here. I won't go through all of them. This one says, dude, it's called job security. To be a mechanic, you have to find a way around all this crap. It's how you feed your wife and kids. Who says he was married with kids? Anyway, is that a GM vehicle? Yeah, we've been seeing mostly GM and Ford so far. This one says engineers should burn in hell fixing their own designs for eternity. And I've seen so many comments like those. Let's go to the next one. And this is part 31. Let's read some of these comments. I feel this man's pain. Seeing one of those pull in during the summertime is terrible. Heat sleeves make it not as bad, but still no fun. This one says, I don't know why you can't just wait till it cools down. Chevy Equinox, but Chevy, GM, Ford, those are the leaders so far along this way. Again, I'm just going through a couple of the videos, the older videos that I had on my YouTube channel. If you want to get the time to go through them during your own time, you can do so, but you have a limited time because I will be removing a lot of these from my channel. So we're getting the taking the opportunity to go through and pay homage and honor to the mechanics who keep our vehicles on the roads. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, well, that not to mention the entire seating, carpets, the dashboard. Ah, wow. And this is actually a 2 to 3 day job. Yeah, basically. And it's just a day in the life of being a mechanic. Let's see what this one comment says, if I can get to it. Aha, still make more money than you, so cry harder. Yeah, that was a engineer making that comment. It's a Hyundai Sonata. It's a Hyundai Sonata. We expect. I had to skip because of the music. Let's go to the next one. And this is part 35. Let's go to the next one. Yep, gonna have to cut it out. That's the only other way to get it out there. Disaster case scenario. Let's pause it right there. Disaster case scenario. Torch it out and replace the hardware. Just as I said, weld a socket to it, add extension, ratchet, and remove. Someone gave it a thumbs up. But basically, now I see why frustrations by mechanic is taken out on the members in the parts department. We know why, but it's not to make fun of them, but at the same time, no, we understand the frustrations and where they're coming from. And it's just one at a time. It's just one at a time, but at least they're getting paid by the hour, so no big deal. But it will be better for them to move on to the next job if they can get this done faster. There should be a tool in place. If there's a tool, please let us know in the comments. But at the same time, mm, it's really challenging. This one says to access this one bolt, it has to be removed. The bolt is right here as you're looking at it. And they've found a way to actually remove the entire front of the vehicle. Let's start it over from here. Look at this. Yep. More than likely, they're trying to change the control arm. It's really really sad. You can get to it the same way how it was assembled by removing the entire engine. And that's basically what they want you to do. This comment says next time go from the front or the top looking down from the hood with a long extension that looks like a Nissan Altima. Like I said, it's always good to share the experiences if there's any amongst you. Let's go to some of the comments here. This one is actually hilarious. This one says, same this with Tesla Model S and X. We have to drop the whole battery pack just to get the bolt out. I cut it with an angle grinder. Takes 5 minutes instead of 3 hours. Next one says, cut the screw off, replace it with a new screw, and mount it on the mount it in the other direction. Greetings from Bavarian Mech, who has to deal with all the complicated BMW plastic bullshit. This one says the only logical conclusion I can come up with with why they would do that is in case of extreme failure. If the bolt was the other way and the nut happened to slide off, the car was violently shaking back and forth, and you're driving at high speeds, your control arm will fail and you'll possibly die. With the current configuration, the bolt could never accidentally come off while driving. If I say all those scenarios happened with the bolt configured in the ideal way, your time was up anyway, and it's no one's fault. Another one says, let's read this other one quick. I hate to be an engineer side, but if that ball got loose and you can pop off that, then you lose the control arm. If it's stuck, then you can rattle in, but you won't lose the control arm, which is good. There's always a perfectly good explanation. Not that I'm taking up for them, but they could have made it a little bit easier and safer in order for the mechanics to get around it as well. But I've used up a lot of the time so far, 38 minutes in. Do we have time for two more? Let's try to do two more. Hmm. It's a Jeep. What do you expect? Look at this one. This comment is hilarious. This one says egghead engineers need to spend 5 years wrenching before they're allowed to design the shit others will have to fix. Just saying, but this look as if you have to try to get to that from the top. 78 thumbs up. The same way how it was installed, this I recommend it the same way you have to actually go for it. Which by means, unluckily, you may have to just take the entire engine out. Let's go to another one. Again, it's a Ford. No surprises. Yeah, because you have to remove the power steering reservoir right there in order to get to the filter. Let's go to the next one. Yep, it's a Dodge. Okay, finally, we have a female mechanic here. As you know, they're in very few supply in the mechanic world. So let's hear what she has to say. Hmm. Right, so many F bombs. We're at number 49. Let's do the last one. No, the music. The music. Let's go to the next one. Okay. Hmm. And obviously, an engineer wrote this comment says, nothing stopping you from going to school and get an engineering degree. Ouch. He actually called him out on that one. That comment hurt. Wow. I mean, you could have said it a little better, but I mean, you understand. If you have to work on the car, you have to go through all of this. Then it pains. So you didn't have to do him dirty like that. But there you have it. 51 videos we have gone through. After about 40 minutes, I won't keep it that long. If you want us to go through the rest of them, well, there's at least another 200 to go through. I can keep that another live come next Saturday at 9 p.m. and we can review them together. And at the same time, you can go to the channel, my channel here, Partsman Pro. Go to shorts, click on oldest, and then you'll see all of them listed there. I'm gonna start removing them one by one. But if you have a few laughs, a few experiences to share, don't be afraid to share those videos. You can download those videos, save them until I start removing them. So let's keep it going. And again, engineers build, mechanics maintain what we all take for granted. And you're seeing exactly what the mechanics go through. Not necessarily, but a lot of the videos that I've seen engineers do is they also complain about the things that they have to learn and try to design. And sometimes they even question the methodology behind it as to how it is to be built and it is to be done, because to them most of the time it makes no sense, and they've admit that on several of the TikTok videos that I've seen so far. You can go and check them out for yourself as well for references. So that's it for tonight, and hopefully I'll see you next week. I'll try to be on time, so 9 p.m. this time. We'll go through a couple of them, and I want to thank you again. So that's it for tonight. Peace out, and until next time.